last one. I'd like to welcome you all to this edition of the Daily Tarot Card Wrap Up. My name is Chris, your Tarot Wizard. And I know you're thinking, wow, Chris, that's a really super mystical name. I know. I've been living it with my whole life. So we're here, turning that down just a little bit more. On Wednesday, March 3rd. It's March 3rd. Holy cow. We're already in March. Oh, I gotta turn this down too. I might create some feedback. So, wow. March 3rd. Yep, we're here. March 3rd, 2021. Welcome. Welcome here. If you're just tuning in, if you're just getting settled for the evening, I'd like to welcome you. We have our little candle over here. We have our deck. I like to think that every little show we remove our bones and become the fleshy squirt we all are. We all shared are on the inside of us. So just checking with our time and our thing here and our vibrating pocket monsters. We all have them nowadays. So welcome. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And as we're getting started here, we always like to feel the day out. We like to complete the circle. We have our candle, we have our chalice off. So right now is a good time to gather up all your ingredients to make the end of the night, the circle, where we try to do this around 9:30. I think we're going to do it every other day because every day just seems to be a little not as mystical, not as special. So if you do get to come by one of these feeds and see this and check this out, we love that. So I'm going to take one thing real quick, though. I'm going to pull up our chat just in case. I don't know where that is. Maybe it's on my phone. Let's take a look. Cool. So I think we're good to go. No one's in chat. No one's really hanging out yet. So we're just me. So no one's asking any questions. That'd be cool for someone to interject and say, hey, I have a question. Weirdo in the skeleton onesie. You seem like a wise person here in the wild, wild web. But if you're all new to this, we got our tarot card generator here. Something we built all in-house. This is all original content. We're not stealing anything. Maybe these chimes are a little bit stolen. If you're interested in where we get these kind of sound effects, I'll take a minute to let you resonate. Sip of my chalice. If you like this, go to softmurmur.com. It's a little fun little thing. It's not our website, but it's a great little background noise generator. Helps you kind of vibe out depending on your vibe. So we like to get things started with just a little test roll, test run, and a test poke. Oh, you know what I don't have? There's our boy. There he is. It's not here. It's in. Let me see. So you're in that chat, you saying? Let's find that. Hold on one second here. There we go. So that chat's not working. So we'll shut this off and we'll go out at you. If you want to interject, want to come in, want to ask a question, want to totally derail the entire feed, come on in. That's what life's about, derailing some other life. Because without it, you're just a single entity with no other to mirror, no reflection. What are we without our reflection? We still don't know. I still forget what I look like every day. That may just be me. I don't know about you, but I forget what I look like without a mirror. Sometimes I forget my dad has a mustache. I had to confirm he has a mustache. This is the mustache dimension, maybe. Who knows? So our little tarot card generator with our friendly devil. He's got Mercury tattooed on his. Letting you know he's got all of the elements to ground you, all the good stuff, the wine, the grapes, the juice, the lean, all that right here. The biggest blunt, the party blunt that never goes out, and your tail is what keeps it going. Go ahead, imagine that the devil needed you to keep his blunt rolling. I mean, because your tail was on fire, and that's how he lit. That might be the coolest job ever. I don't know. I mean, my job's pretty cool now. I stay at home and build websites for midwives. Pretty mystical, I know. But I stay at home. And they send me pictures of people giving birth. Yes, thank you. That's what I got today. Without much warning or trigger warnings. Like, I don't know. I can't show these on the internet. Why am I looking at these? Period. Anyway. It's a wild, wild west out there. Excuse me. So we're going to keep going, and we're going to test our deck out, see how our deck's feeling. That's why I like to always ask the deck, how are you feeling? You know, sometimes depending on your draw, you have a 3 card or a 5 card. It could be past, present, future. It could be the 5 card I like speaks as to the past, present, future, the result, and then solution. You know, all these kind of like. So we like to ask the deck, how are you feeling, deck? And just to get everything tested out, deck's feeling like an ace of wands right now. So that's pretty great because I should get this light out of my face. The deck has a great surge in it, and it's raw, fiery force. The new beginning is guided by confidence and enthusiasm. I love the enthusiasm part because confidence is one thing, but enthusiasm is where I think people fall fake or don't really have it or not really have the extra energy to give it that, I don't want to say Disney charm, but that level of that extra bit, you know, that like, man, I really wish someone would come to me and do that extra kind of. Now you got to be that person. So this deck is going to be that person for us, or that entity for us to be that enthusiasm, and I'll kind of help translate some of that enthusiasm, hopefully. And the wand is in your hand. What will you create? What will you ask the deck? What will you ask of any real question? What is your main question? What are you worried about? Is there worry? Why are we worried? You know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things. A lot of curiosity out there. So I like to say I like to create this stream to as a service to that curiosity, to the service of that. Our message of social gathering and community has kind of failed us. Our social media has pretty much left us even more isolated than ever, and it's quite sad sometimes when I think about it. So I'm out here in service of the other of you and anybody who's taking any of this to heart or to any of it. Well, they're like, oh, why am I even watching this? Who knows? But that's what I think the deck has to offer us is a pretty good. I'm going to beat you with this information, and it's pretty sometimes right in front of your face. Sometimes it's vague. Sometimes it could be just a bunch of hogwash. You know, who knows? You got to explore. And what any card game will tell you is that if you don't like your card kind of upsets you, disrupts you, displaces you in some way. There's always another card. There's always a new result. There's always a new day to add new perspective to these common everyday things that I think the cards kind of talk about. That's why anybody wants to play a game, is so they can have a fun, weird kind of experience. And tarot cards have been around for quite some time, and they evoke a lot of imagination. They've helped resolve a lot of things, people's mind and their imagination. And you wouldn't believe what one imagination can cause another imagination to think when they're not even talking about the same thing. It's the imagination that makes the connection, causing the future, the fortune telling, and it's quite almost a intellectual, almost biologically, almost process that's mathematically processed. I shouldn't say biological, but more, natural and mathematical. The references tarot cards used to be, as far as some of the more higher minds. When I say high, I'm thinking Timothy Leary. He used to think that the tarot cards themselves were able to chart biological evolution, and that's a grand statement. But as far as how the periodic table of elements expose themselves and how they adapt, and everyone adapts to the next level by adding a different element or molecule. It's quite fascinating when you get down to the intellectual, scientific way of evolution, and somebody takes the tarot cards and overlays that. It's quite a brilliant experience to think about. So our Ace of Wands, our deck here, we have our physical deck. Our Scully boy, he's going to tell us this is good. This is good news. That he's got a little insight, a little something, a stick at least to beat you at the shin. Wake up, get out of here. You're in the walkway. Something. Some of these little, sometimes they may not be the best reminders of where we need to be in life, and every day we're undergoing some of this new change, this new development, these new what's going on. Is there's a lot of stuff out there, and that's what these channels are in service to you and any of all of that query or that curiosity. So thank you for chiming in. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to tune up some chimes, sit for my chalice, stare at my candle for a second, and we'll pull on our next card. So it's a fun overlay. So you're not there yet if you don't understand. There's a lot of text out there, a lot of wild, mystical, fun things, a lot of chaos, and it's cool because the devil is cool. He's the coolest person in all of history. I keep forgetting to turn these chimes down because then you can't hear me. All right, chimes down. I have a little note. Put it right over a post-it note. Made me cut it in the shape of a tombstone for this show, so I know it's for this show's notes. So I'd like to start the question of, let's see, we're at Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. We've come a year. All right, I got the question. Now, you don't have to say it out loud. You can keep it in your gutty works, in your spaghetti house, whatever you want to call your insides. That's a place. Some say that you're actually whole body is controlled by the lower part of your region, and your brain is just the tells you where it's the most coziest, where to get this. The belly and the groin, the sexual groin region, are in control. The brain just tells you where the cozy is, and the rest of it's just legs and finger parts. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. That's why I'm here on Twitch, trying to read cards that are 5,000 years old, tweak my bone nibbles. If you like catch an old episode, I couldn't stop doing that. It was weird. I get nervous. So we're gonna start with the first card. We're gonna see if we've shuffled. If we hadn't, it'll give us the last card. See, we haven't shuffled yet. You can follow along at haveagoodie.com. It's a fun little pocket tarot card generator. You can support the feed by buying one of those pieces of merch, wearing it on your head, and just letting people know that, man, have a good die, have a good one. This is we're all here. We're all going to the same place. We're all in the same place in line. While some people are butting in the front, some people are trying to get out of line. Some people are like literally sitting on the floor. That's nothing worse when everyone's standing in line walking and someone just sits on the floor. Everyone's that weird, wherever you are, whoever you are in this line, we're all in the same place. And the idea that there's going to be someone behind you, someone in front of you. And the someone behind you, you have something for, and someone in front of you should have something for you. That's the way it should work. And if you feel like you're maybe lost out on one of those situations, go ahead and be that person twice for the person behind you. Someone always wants something twice. It's unexpected. One thing the tarot card has taught me about is giving. Giving is the ultimate kind of secret ingredient to getting. That's the biggest mystery of the world. You start giving, you start to get. It's wild, but we're going to shuffle the deck. I think we shuffled it now. We're gone. We're ready to go. There he goes. He did a little hiccup. Three of Cups. Speaking of giving and getting. It's time to celebrate. The work has been done. Rejoice. So, in the question of where we're at tonight, this is a great beginning. Fill your cup, but make sure others have a full cup as well. Full cup as well. Got my full cup right out here. I'd like to think that I deserve this full cup because I make sure everybody else's cups are full. I'd like to think that I'm a pretty generous person. I don't know how you're feeling about your generosity and what that means in the grand scope of the party. We don't get to gather much this close anymore. This card today, they'd just be the cups. The three hands would just be in a glass bubble with gloves on. Like one of those like radioactive things, but everyone's cup would be full. That would be the party. That's the party, is I make sure everyone's either suffering together or partying together, but everyone's at least still in that same scope. And whether you got grapes in your hair or I don't even want to know where I went after that one, but and you're dancing around in the orange field, whether you have that field to dance in, it's about offering space for others. Now we set up these kind of this example, these stages here to show that we're trying to bring the most smallest voice to the main line, and this is the main line. I mean, we have no other place, but this is where celebrities, the biggest names, the biggest line come to express themselves, and we are here, and you have that ability. We all have this ability. We may not have our throat chakra in line to where we feel we have the voice to use it, or we just might be talking, but we really have to exercise ourselves to create the reality that we want to see vibrate in front of us, and creating that starts with a declaration. And a declaration, as much as you want to write it down, writing it down is very important because that is the first manifestation of the idea, but then saying it out loud is the actual creation of the energy. It turns. That writing is the first part. Tapping at my second part's the creation. Filling that cup, making sure, are you good? Are you good? Because if you've asked everyone around you if they're good, and they are, I'm pretty sure you're going to be fantastic. Now, that might not be also apply to you. There might be a lot of unfulfilled kind of or skull boys floating around here. Yeah, might be unfulfilled, unquenched desires that we're still searching for. But that's a deeper, uh, deeper place to where we can go to. That's a different conversation. And now the Three of Cups. Now the numbers in the I believe have I call them an age to them, a youthful curiosity, far into even an older experience could still have a very young approach, but these numbers I believe have these ideas that are come with the evolution of certain developments in the experience. Experience is life, and as much as we all are missing or have the things, we all come from the same cloth. We all come from this. We all don't realize we come from this dirt shit. The mineral pits. I mean, these are the things that we all forget. How we all come from the same basic biological substance, and those basic biologies all respond to the same way. And everything else we've put on or have it's been put on us outside of it. We come from this core that wants to give and be given and be recognized, and to recognize as a giver, recognizes giving. And it starts with sometimes taking your full cup before you, maybe, I know you want to sip, but give that sip out. And it's still, you'll get yours. We're at a 3. There's so many cards in the deck. There's so many opportunities. What happened is I've seen opportunities squandered because they were upset about the first level payout, meaning like only one person's going to get paid out here, and you got upset, and you missed out on the future payouts at that point. And this whether it be for work, for actual fruit punch, these are things that I've seen children. It's all a wild experience that sometimes you have to wait for the next card. So that's what the hardest part is sometimes, is taking the cards we're given and working with them. And that's where we're here to experience all of this. Just working with these cards, just watching to this person ramble about what is he talking about? Fruit punch? I was thinking about little cups of fruit punch. You just get them, and like when you used to get cookies and juice, and you would get like 2 little those cookies that you fed on your pinky, and then that little paper cup of fruit punch. I don't know if anyone ever had that experience. I mean, I did. I guess it's weird kind of summer camp, But did you ever like look around and see someone who maybe like wanted, I don't know, to just give your fruit punch away? Or I don't know. Fruit punch. Somebody's a fruit punch me in the face. So no, all violence aside, enjoy our celebration. And how to do that? Make sure everybody else is good first. Because if they're good, man, you'll be great. So we got our 3 of cups letting us know that we're celebrating. And I always like to throw an analogy on this celebration. And we'll see what the second card does. We'll see where that analogy goes. But we got the 3 of cups going. So just imagine that we're gonna have a second camera coming up soon. I talk about that every time. All right, thank you. So we high five the devil, however we do it. Thank you, devil. This is a good little lesson about giving and receiving in the cups, which reminds me about my cup right now is sitting off stage, off screen. I'm gonna turn this chime in, take a little sip, sit back, and think about some 3 cups. Think about times we had a cup that we just purposely chugged in front of someone or something, or purposely took a moment and experience, and chugged that moment despite somebody else's benefit from it. Or we could have possibly shared a moment where share a chug. It doesn't have to be a cup of liquid, but just we can think about it. But we can't think about that without chimes. You got to have some chimes. Tune those chimes down just a bit. Coming back. Yeah. So, before we had the three cups telling us to share our in our the celebration is the best part of the celebration is sharing it with others. So we're going to see how that applies to the future of our pool here. Hit the shuffle. We've got 8 of cups. And it looks like with many celebrations, many memories can be made. And with many celebrations, we forget that the celebration, the celebratory experience, the exchange between two humans in celebration is the apex of the experience. There's nothing higher we can get unless those two individuals are on heroin. You can't get any higher than that moment. I mean, excuse me. It's those moments where we wish we could kind of bring back, and they don't get any higher. It doesn't get any sweeter than those moments in life. And we often forget how sweet we can make it all the time if we can just bring that energy back to most of the moments. That we don't doesn't have to. You don't have to have an orgasm with every. Oh my God! It's so everything. Yes, those people are the worst. But to let certain almost not childlike feelings, but these moments where we're I don't know. It's just you be like a generic post-it note. It's not gonna stick. Just be crappy. You stick a drop. You might as just bought a square pad of paper. It's just it doesn't stick. So don't let the energy kind of stick. So the 8 of Cups kind of tells us after all these great celebrations, this brings I love to the 8 of it all. There's no long and also there's a lot of things we've come along throughout those parties. A lot of great things that brought you to different parties, but some things that may not serve you anymore. And don't let the empty cups of all of those past memories leave you unfulfilled now because you're staring at an empty cup. Because this moon here, she's looking cute, and just you understand that there's that next month, that full moon, there's going to be a drum circle somewhere around this mountain. Someone's partying here. And if you go shake off this frock, this thing here, and dust yourself off, you could be back into the party game. And you could be understanding that there's this whole other element to the memories of the past. Let that be actually a great foundation. And what I see a lot is a lot of foundations are being ignored, meaning you're not allowed to have 8 cups. Man, I met you at 3 cups. I met you at 7 cups. I don't want to hear about any of those other cups. I just want to hear about one. I just want to hear about me as a cup. There's a lot of that possessive human history. I don't know. You don't want people to have the experiences that they had that brought you to them. It's a weird world some people live in with that. So the new horizon always brings the I guess the closure to the my cup's empty. I've had all these parties. I'm almost done partying. I mean, literally, you're at an 8. You should be done, but you're sometimes we get stuck being held on to the past. We get stuck, and that has nothing to do with parties. That the past sometimes, and I say parties, these things meaning events, these periodics, these points where we felt like we were on top. And when I use the word party is when anyone has a really great memory of a party is when they felt they were on top. They were that like giant swollen head in the room, and that perfect 90s camera right here, and they were the perfect party man, so we were in these moments. It doesn't even have to be that. It's these events where you felt you were at the apex of being on top. There's these moments we have all throughout life. We're given opportunities through even youth to feel like this. And these memories that we reflect back to use currently to go, oh, I'm the boss, I'm the man, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the woman. I always use these references because being a him, his, I forget, I don't know what a pronoun is, so I don't know. He asked me what a pronoun is, I'd be like, I don't know. But words, it's one of these ignorances I forget when it comes to, and I have no business being anybody with anything to say, but sometimes I disagree, and I have quite a bit to say, just because I don't know where it's from, and I misspell it verbally. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be allowed to speak. And I think there's a level of you never know where anybody's in their journey when it comes to something like confidence and ability, and where I've learned that like coming at them where some people want to just humiliate and like slam dunk them right from the get-go, like spell check, pow, you just come at them, and it's like, that's terrible, because you never know where somebody is in that like level of confidence, and they're just trying to get over a speech impediment. They're just trying to get over dyslexia. So they're just trying to get over some of the things in life that make reading hard. And you want to come in and start slamming their grammar. Cool. Really cool. These things that we forget, and they're so easily, you're just dumb. You don't have anything wise or smart to say. You misspelled they. There's no Q in that word. So these memories that we all take with us, these that's not who we are at this moment, because you can always overcome, you can always shake it off, you can always go, don't bother you if it's true. That's also the part that we got to live its truth. So he's this if you can take a minute to reflect. You can go hide behind the mountains. but you can't ignore the sexiness of the moon. And that's why she shows up, or he. I forget what gender the moon is. I forget the name of the moon if it wasn't the moon. Um, but that's what this card to me is. Oh, you can wallow, you can walk off, you can hide yourself down and think about all the past. But the moon's got some great, sexy new opportunity. Whether it's work, love, relationship, family, all of these things that are across the board, universal to the experience. So when we have our Three of Cups at the very beginning of this little journey, we brought the giving part. So we're not going to forget about that. The whole we've given to a lot, and this is where we can be giving not so much, but giving to the point where you've done a lot for a lot of people. This could be a well far to a point where you've given. You come from a place of generosity. So giving is not your thing. So you come from a legacy of giving, and that legacy is starting to dwindle in the modern. We need something fast, quick, now, hot, burning on the tongue, and consistently. Social media. These medias have us forgetting and valuing the content that we put out, consistency with the actual integrity of who we can be on a day-to-day basis. So celebrating and reflecting, there's a lot of things we can come from a big story, and to reflect on where we come from in a celebratory kind of way. It'd be a challenge sometimes. So we can explore more. We can discover more. So that's what another card is for. And as we journey further in, we can explore a little further. So let's continue on. Chairman down. I'm going to pull up some chimes, answer some rhymes, and sip on some beer. Happy about craft beer, if that means anything to anybody out here. But we're gonna sip one more time, chime on a dime, and get back in line. So we're here. We're back. Are we on? Oh, our mic's going. It's hot. Good. Our chimes are still up. Let's turn them down because those are loud. And I think we're gonna do just about a probably. We'll see if we get do. We'll do a 3 card draw and then a long drawn out rant of a wrap up. How about that? That sounds good. Long rants from a man in a skeleton onesie. Sounds like great content to me. So we got a 3 of Cups. Talks about the party. Talks about the giving of a party and the idea of celebrating. We got our 8 of Cups. Talks about that the longing for the older, kind of reflecting on the past is sometimes not easy, but that the moon is always sexy, and every 30 days she shows her face to you, her full face. So that's quite. I'd be excited if in 30 days I knew there was going to be a cool party around the mountain. And cultures have been celebrating the moon forever, and I don't see why. It's not very common. I mean, living in Colorado, there's too many moon worshippers, so we kind of like stick to just being grounded and getting froyo on a full moon. Maybe that's more of our thing. But so we're gonna see where our 3 card ends up, and it's could be past, present, and future. We didn't really have much of a chime in, so we're gonna just go with the wrap up of it all. I don't think I shuffled. We're gonna hit it and see if I did. Nope, there's our 8 of Cups. There's our guy in his red cape, and he's off. But there's that cute moon. Oof. Oof. Anyway, we're going to hit that shuffle. Look at that. Good. I'll hit it twice. I hope we don't get a card we already had. So, you know what? Let's tap the devil on the belly. I've always liked that technique. So we're gonna round it up, rub it up. You never want to tap the devil on the belly cold. You have to go and rub it first. I don't make these rules up. I do. 8 of Wands. It's time for action. What are you waiting for? Get moving. New prospects are on their way. Be ready. We could probably hold off that be ready, because being ready is something a little bit different than understanding the new prospects. But we'll so I think what these cards are telling me, what the last draw is that the sexy moon, you got to be ready. That's what Spirit's telling me. It's telling me to focus on being ready, because the prospects of having a well-developed giving center, meaning like the center of your being is always focused on giving to others and being service of others. And it's never ever too late to be in service of others. So like right now, you could be a total shitbag your whole life and never given once. And if you start now, and if you from this day forward and this moment forward, stop once where you would have walked over them and kept walking. You stop once, see what the problem is, solve the problem, then go on, walk. I like that. That would change the world significantly, like in a short amount of time. We don't all that. We don't have that luxury. I just say like just what do you know to stop but opportunity comes with the idea of giving and to taking the time to give. And sometimes, like I've said previously, and sometimes a lot of the cards can kind of give you the same idea, because if you don't give, you don't get the result that nature kind of puts in front of you. It's time for action. What are you waiting for? So there's a lot of sluggish behavior that can come about when unfulfilled. When we're talking about that 3 of Cups, say your cup didn't get filled. You've been to too many parties and your cup never got filled. That memories of you're not all there. You're reflecting on how many times your cup didn't get filled. which is a lot of the time where we want to reflect. Because a lot of our dramas and melodramas we watch all talk about that character whose cup never gets filled. And we always constantly forget, because it's just like that kind of bad review thing. We always constantly forget about how many times, this is not a universal thing. This is not just one blanket statement. But for most people, we've all had these experiences to be fulfilled, to reject the fulfillment and move on. Or there's a lot of things that the independent individual can go through. So when it comes time for action, is made sometimes the hardest step. And action means so many different things. It means sticking up for yourself. It means sitting down sometimes. Sometimes what I like to think about is when it comes to the sticks, is the action of the stick is what the environment experiences. But sometimes the truth only takes a little bit of truth, but the action behind the truth, when I think the truth is the growth, it pushes through in a way that, like, the action behind, when you take a little bit of truth and push a lot of action behind it, it has a really hard, almost an impact. Like, so if these were fake truths, so to speak, and there was a lot of action behind the fake truth, how well do you think those fake truths would stick? So, what I like to think that the wands represent action, and these little, especially this particular deck, I like to think these spuds here are little spigots of truth coming in. So there's a lot of truth coming in your way, and sometimes it's hard to ignore it, and sometimes you want to ignore it, but it's always to be ready to take on that truth and to take that truth with you. And the idea of serving the greater, you've had, we're gonna wrap up this spread here with the 3-card spread. We had our 3 of Cups celebrating and giving, and the 8 of Cups with the memories and the acknowledgement of where we came from. Sometimes a hard acknowledgement to give up, but the action of now, because there's always a brand new beginning, even at the most hardest of trials. There's always new opportunity in this arena. So it's and how I'd like to think of all of it is, we can like to sum it up to one bigger analogy, and that's what I kind of, and I've been told by some people that I have a gifted or awful curse in that. But let's see if we can take that point of a party where you're celebrating. All right. There's a fruit punch. I keep getting this message of fruit punch and a child, and you've got fruit punch. But there's that dirty kid that you're kind of friends with, but like he just can't. For some reason, he gets the cup and he just crushes it. Like he gets the cup and you look at him and he goes, and the juice goes all over his hands, and he's like, and it just doesn't wrap. And you're small and you're little and you have a hard time recognizing that. And you look at your juice and before you sip it, you give it to this boy, and he's so used to just crushing it as a cup, just because it's just a, that's what, who knows. So you give this cup to this boy, and that changes the entire dynamic of that's never been ever the case. And you have You have this weird relationship, but that's all you do. You just give your fruit punch to this kid, and and at the end, you realize you're a CEO of of a fruit punch company somehow, and that's where it came from. So like there are so many opportunities along the way to to make that reality, believe it or not. But it takes those moments when you see an opportunity, you seize an opportunity to give, to interject, to change, to insert what I believe is a little chaos into the natural scope of the arena. This what is it? The word is escaping me, as some most words do in the English language. They run. They just flee. They flee from my lexicon. They run like I'm coming at them with a knife. I'm gonna chop off a couple of consonants. And, fuck you, Val. You're coming with me. I'm gonna put an R around our review. Ha ha ha. Anyway, it's quite the quite the fun. And anyway, so our giving part of where did we go here? Anyway, it brings me to where did we let's get lost off? Hold on, I gotta consult our chalice here. That's the problem here. I think we got too hot without consulting the chimes, the chalice, and our heart center. So let's do that right now. Well, our pool brought us to a pretty pretty significant read there. I'm still kind of lingering in the idea of where, because no one asked me a question. Of course, I'm pulling all of these with the question in mind, and the question we can just kind of get it out there. It was a where will this feed lead you? So I pull it all together, and the feed itself helps me. It tells me to give. It tells me to serve. And this is my service, and I'm happy to do that service. And there's these, of course, insecurities that stop you and slow you down along the way, and you always want to. What are you doing? Why do you stop that? But we continue on, and we just move by, and we pull another card if we have a problem. And I think that's what this one today was about. It was about pulling another card, letting us know that there is life around the cute moon, and that cute moon does it for you. Trust me, that moon does it for you. It's cute. It does it for you, and it's just around the corner. And would the cute moon be a job, person, lifestyle, objective? These are the things that it's there. it will come because it will come. If it doesn't come, I don't want to. It is what it is, you to death. But on that note, I want to thank you for tuning in. Any last chatters out there want to ask a question? Come on by. Hello. I don't think there is. We've been at about an hour and I can't tell now. This new stream software doesn't have the time. That's what we've been at an hour and 20. Wow, that's big time. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoy it, stop by haveagoodnight.com or nextweekproductions.com or nxkwkprod.com. Oh, we got before we're tuning out, we got a someone in the chat. What do the guides want me to know right now? Okay, what do the guides want me to know? I'm going to shuffle our deck. What do the guides want our fellow curious traveler to know? Let's see. I actually got to turn on some chimes and consult our chalice and our candle, of course. These are the things that we have to do in between any spirit session, is take time and put the spirit through you. And the spirit in here is grounded all the way to the core of the earth. And it requires sometimes a little equilibrium in the form of a grounding substance, a smoke substance. And that allows your message to really infiltrate the aura of our atmosphere. So I'm going to turn up some chimes, take a sip, and we're going to see what the guides want to know for our friendly traveler. Multiple chalices sometimes, multiple vessels. How many boats does the Navy have? They don't just got one type of boat. Multiple vessels to get the job right. I mean, we're still filling every boat full of seamen. Still plenty of seamen in these boats, but why got different boats? They all got a different job. Different vessels have different jobs. So we can think about that even as us personally. Think about that. We are a vessel. So this vessel, whether what is your job? I don't want to militarize our what is your job? Like this, those motherfuckers, they got a lockdown on some vocabulary. Got really hard to sometimes clean them out of really hard analogies. Consult right here. Consult right here. See what our guides like. Turn the chimes down. Oh, devil, what do our guides want to know for our friend, our traveler here? All right, so we have our Six of Swords. Now, I wrote these little, I say fortune, these quips, a few years back, so they kind of spoke to how I was feeling about the tarot then. I love to pull all sorts of different things here, but I wrote, the worst is behind you. It's clear sailing from now on with calm waters ahead. Going with the flow rather than fighting with the opposing current. Now, the guides at this point, if we're speaking to the generalized, where does the natural current want to take you? Well, I'd like to think that in this card it depicts that sometimes these journeys are not just stewarded by yourself. You're not just stumbling along, and it looks like, and we'd like to think that there's three characters in this journey. One being, a child, one being possibly a mother or father or a guardian, and then a steward here. Your Uber gondola driver of the night. Now, wherever your role is in this persona, in this perception, is that ahead of you is nothing but uh, clear oceans. The current, it's your oceans are flat. The guys want you to know there is support on all fronts. Whether you're the child that needs the full compass, the full spectrum support of, say, a guardian, it's there. The guides want you to know that they support structures there. You probably have in the idea that most people seeking guides, they have someone there that they can actually feel as the guardian. Now, the confidence is to get in the Uber and get you to that guardian. You're also protected by the knowledge of. I always love the idea of these swords, as much as they are these tokens. I always like to think that they ran off with 6 swords. They got 6 swords. It's a point system. There's a level of protection you've got because you've developed these guides that you have working with you. If I mean, you wouldn't calling them guides if you were just random entities. Maybe random entities. You're protected on the 6th side, of which meaning that you're no longer on the floundering. Will I be headed? That's on the other side of the 5, 4, 3, 2. The 6 is you're on the way. You got your Uber gondola driver. He's taking you out to open opportunity, and that's staying in alignment with the idea that these rocky currents behind you are just getting you out to the clearer skies faster. It's whether we want to combat this current. We tell this guy, go the other way. I want to go with current, and or he just got the bad map and he's going around in a circle before he even picks you up. He's that bad of a gondola driver. You don't want to. You want to mess with him. You might want to pay the $5 to cancel this guy and get the guy who's got room for 6 swords. So there's a lot of opportunity here in the query to the guides. So there's opportunity to listen. You have to really want to hear what they have to say. And if we can wrap it up, do we have another wrap up? Do I have one more thing here? I don't think so. And the worst is behind you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of wrapped it up. Now you probably got room for about 7 or 8 swords. 9 swords, the guy's gonna get mad. He's gonna start poking you with his stick, and then he's gonna be listen, Jack, you gotta call Uber X. You're welcome, kind journeyman. I hope you have good evening, and we will chat into the distant future. So we're gonna turn on some chimes, sip from our chalice. If there's any weary travelers out there, please come along and see what the swords and cards or chalices all have cards or feast nights. Sometimes you're not too sure what to make of them. Not too sure what man in a skeleton onesie. After all, they are a skeleton. But I'm gonna have a sip of the chalice where it shines. Chalice where it shines. And on that note, listening to Running, we're at that point. It's time to keep the spirit, and I will be the wallflower for the evening.